Chapter 4 Battles with Pirates. Just then, Hook heard a clock. The crocodile, he thought. He jumped into the sea at once and swam to a boat. The other pirates went after him. We won the battle, the boys cried. Peter saved me, Tiger Lily told the Indians. After that, the Indians were friends with the lost boys. Peter was very happy. He could tell Indians and lost boys what to do. At night, the boys slept in their warm house under the ground. The Indians sat, waited, and watched for pirates. But the pirates watched them too. One day, Wendy told the boys a true story about Mrs. Darling. Our mother leaves a window open for us, Wendy said at the end of the story, so we can go home one day. I went home once, Peter said angrily, but the window was closed. There was a new boy in my bed. John and Michael were afraid. Let's go home, they told Wendy, before Mother closes the window. Can we go with them? The lost boys asked. Go if you want, Peter said quietly. I'm staying here. Suddenly, they heard noises above them. The pirates are attacking, Peter cried. Peter took his sword, but Wendy stopped him. Don't go out, she said. You must stay with the boys. Above them, the Indians fought bravely, but the pirates fought better. Soon, most of the Indians were dead. The boys sat and listened to the battle. Who's going to win? John asked. I don't know, Peter said. We must listen for the drums. When the Indians win a battle, they play the drums. Smee was by a hollow tree, and he heard the boys. Next to him was a dead Indian and a drum. Tiger Lily saved us, the boys cried when they heard the drums, so they went up their hollow trees. Peter stayed in the house and thought about Wendy. She wanted to go home, and he was sad. When Wendy and the boys came out of the trees, the pirates caught them. Hook took off his hat to Wendy because he was a good form. Take them to the ship, Hook told his men. Wendy can be our mother, but the boys are all going to die. Hook waited for Peter, but he didn't come out. Tinkerbell sat in a tree and watched Hook. Chapter 5 Poison. Peter's in the house, Hook thought, but how can I go down there? Hollow trees are for little boys, not big pirates. But just then, Toodles came out of his tree. Toodles was a very big boy, so his tree was big. Slowly, quietly, Hook went down Toodles' tree. It was dark inside the house, but Hook could see Peter. He was asleep. It isn't good form to kill a sleeping boy, Hook thought, angrily. He nearly left, but then he stopped and smiled. Hook took a bottle from his coat. He put some poison into Peter's medicine cup. Then he left. Peter, wake up, Tinkerbell cried. What is it? Peter asked. The pirates took Wendy and the boys to their ship. Peter jumped out of bed. I must save them, he cried, but first I must take my medicine. Tinkerbell saw the poison bottle and cried, Stop! But Peter didn't understand. He took the cup. Tinkerbell flew across the room and put her mouth in front of the cup. You drank my medicine, Peter said angrily. It wasn't medicine, Tinkerbell answered. It was poison. Why did you do that? Peter asked. Now you're going to die. Don't you understand? Tinkerbell said sadly. Tinkerbell began to feel very cold, and Peter began crying. Perhaps you can save me, she told him quietly. Fairies only die when children don't believe they are real. Ask the children, Peter. Children dream of Neverland all the time, so Peter spoke to all the children of the world. Clap, he told them in their dreams. Do you believe fairies are real? Then clap. Some bad children laughed, but many, many children clapped. Soon Tinkerbell felt better again. She flew around the room happily. When Tinkerbell was better, Peter left. I can't fly to the ship, he thought. The pirates could see me. So Peter moved slowly through the forest. He made a noise like a clock. Some pirates heard him. They remembered the crocodile and ran away, but the crocodile heard him too. Peter came to the beach and saw the pirate ship. He began swimming. The crocodile was behind him. The boys were on the ship. They stood next to a plank with ropes around their arms and legs. You're going to walk this plank and fall into the sea, laughed Hook. Die bravely, Wendy cried. Chapter 6 To England. 6 of you must walk the plank, Hook said, but 2 of you can live. I need 2 pirates for my ship. No, Michael cried. Never, called Toodles. Mother doesn't want us to be pirates, said John. Then walk the plank, all of you, Hook told them. Pirates pushed the first boy onto the plank. Then they heard a clock. It's the crocodile. Hide me, Hook told them. Hook hid behind his men. I killed Peter Pan with poison, he thought. That was bad form. So now the crocodile is coming for me. Peter pretended to be the clock, and he slowly went up a rope onto the deck. Most of the pirates were with Hook, but one pirate watched the boys. Peter killed him. Then he cut the boys' ropes. "Find guns and swords," he told them quietly. Suddenly, the clock noise stopped. "Go and look," Hook told the pirate. The pirate walked across the deck. Then he fell. He was dead. Suddenly, Peter jumped up. "Fight well, boys," he cried. The pirates looked around them. The lost boys were free. "Now you're going to die, Peter," Hook called. Hook's long sword moved here and there, but Peter was fast. Every time the pirate captain attacked, Peter jumped away. Then Hook lost his sword, but Peter stopped fighting and gave it to him. "Good form," thought Hook angrily. Hook was tired. He fought worse and worse. "I can't win now," he thought, so he walked onto the plank. Then Peter kicked him in the back. "Bad form," Hook cried out happily, and he fell into the crocodile's mouth. The pirates jumped into the sea and swam away. "We won!" the boys cried. "To England," Peter told them. He was their captain now, and they were his pirates. They sailed the ship for many days and many nights, but one day Peter said, "Let's fly from here." Peter and Tinker Bell flew faster than Wendy and the boys. They soon lost Peter in the clouds. At the darling's house, Peter and Tinker Bell flew into the bedroom. "Quick," said Peter, "close the window behind you." "Wendy can't come home now," he thought. "She must stay with me." Then Peter saw Wendy's mother. She was asleep, and she dreamed of her children and cried. Suddenly, Peter understood. Mrs. Darling needed Wendy too. "Open the window, Tinker Bell," he said sadly. Wendy and her brothers flew into the room. "Let's wake Mother up," said the boys. "No," said Wendy. "Let's go to bed and pretend to sleep." When Mrs. Darling woke up, she saw the children in their beds. "I'm dreaming," she thought, but they jumped out of bed and hugged her. "Come quickly," she called. "Our children are home." Nana and Mr. Darling ran into the room. Peter watched them, and he cried. "Can they live with us?" Wendy asked her mother when the lost boys arrived. "Of course," said Mrs. Darling, and she hugged them. "You can live with us too," Mrs. Darling told Peter, but Peter didn't want to live in a house and go to school and grow up. "Wendy can visit you," Mother said. So every spring, Peter took Wendy to Neverland. Peter never grew up, but every year Wendy was older. Then one spring, Wendy waited, but Peter didn't come. "I'm not a little girl now," she thought. "Peter's with new friends in Neverland."